Human civilization is becoming the most regenerative, ecological, and biorenewable in the universe. Amazing times may be ahead of human civilization. A lot of people are working day and night to build a better and more sustainable world for every human being. Every company and nation is setting new goals to reach net zero and extreme sustainability here on out. The change can be exceptionally regenerative, ecological, and biorenewable to put an end to global warming and its negative effects. There are more innovative ideas, products, and solutions popping out from everywhere by many people and organizations. Everything that people do to survive and live comfortably has to be revised for the betterment of society and to make it as environmentally secure as possible. This is a world security problem, an existential threat concerning every world citizen. People have the power to reform and remedy destructive habits, norms, and industrial concepts. People have been growing the economy, population, and industrial plundering by burning fossil fuels for a few centuries. The planet cannot sustain any of these. It already catered to damaging sectors of business and industry for too long. Most of the indigenous communities were in tune with their environment, they cared about the natural world and lived according to its regenerative growth. Technological and industrial advancements and dissipation have driven the planet into its current condition. Greenhouse gas emissions will skyrocket to repair the economy that's been detrimental to natural resources and habitats that are very fragile and also finite. Every human being has to live as environmentally friendly as they can, and this will oblige a lot of sacrifices, modification, and sensibility. People didn't know any better than producing so much waste and emissions to live a normal life. It's not totally their fault. The economic system is built upon overconsumption and fossil fuels. Unfortunately, everything a human being does to live normally generates a very large amount of gases that are clogging the atmosphere and waste that end up in landfills, oceans, and water streams. Now there is a rising awareness. People are discovering ways to mitigate their carbon emissions and environmental impact. People can live like the natives that had very low emissions and impact in their ambience. Although there are a lot of people in the world who are probably deleterious about the environment and its balance of life, the greenwashing of all industries and countries can reshape civilization for the good. Greenwashing may not be that bad, it may be what we need to redeem the environment and minimize the damage and warming gases. Plants and crops will play a greater role in every industry to reach net zero and convert every product into biodegradable and safe. Switching to a plant-based diet and lifestyle reduces the environmental impact right away, but it's not enough to save the world yet. You can save a lot of animals by going vegan, fully plant-based, and products and foods have a significantly lower carbon footprint and damage to nature. Packaging, plastics, mass manufacturing of countless junk products are harmful to the ecosphere humans live in. The planet is warming up every year, natural resources are being destroyed. Plant-based materials can replace packaging, plastics, and manufacturing methods that emit tons of greenhouse gases. Scientists are trying to produce plastic alternatives from bacteria and microorganisms, and it may be commercially viable soon. Plants and fungi have been evolving for millions of years, and they survive pole shifts, temperature fluctuations, mass extinctions, and other calamities, so they can pretty much survive anything and assist in making things humans rely on. Fossil fuels have been the most potent energy source and manufacturing substance until now. There are many substitutions to fossil energy, and biofuels can supplant fossil fuels by absorbing carbon dioxide from the air. This is a carbon-based planet, so carbon is the most abundant element. It's mostly found in its attached form to other elements, as in carbon dioxide. It's not just carbon dioxide, there are other greenhouse gases like methane, nitrous oxide, ozone, and fluorocarbons. Everybody is trying to find solutions to climate change, which is intensifying every year. The good thing is that environmental awareness and understanding the human population's impact on the world are the biggest controversial matters. Green movements and raising awareness about serious issues can direct civilization to do the right things to restore the planet before it's too late. The environment and natural resources are major concerns for every region and country. There are various regions exhibiting extreme resilience and productivity, and these are mostly the rainforests. Thus, acres of farmland and empty territories can be repurposed as carbon sequestering productions and sustainable manufacturing zones. Industrial zones emit tons of greenhouse gases, but they can be net zero or negative if they're supplied by new rainforest productions by replacing vast areas. A lot of people who love nature and forests have moved out of cities to plant large food forests to build their homestead in the country. This is proof that large tracts of land can be determined as forest productions to cater nearing eco-villages and regenerative manufacturing. In nature, everything operates in a very regenerative manner, and humans can emulate this in every industry, city, and endeavor by utilizing rainforest's power of resilience and rapid offshoot. Renewable energies can be set up in rural areas where new eco-villages, agroforestry schemes, regenerative forest manufacturing, and constructions can crop up. Most of the construction will be made of plant-based materials, even fungi to be net zero soon. Concrete buildings will be a thing of the past unless they capture carbon in bricks. Extremely ecological civilization can surpass all alien races in every field of business and self-generating technologies that are organic in form. Biological and organic breakthroughs are appearing as the newest forms of technology without the need for rare metals. Rare metal mining is required to manufacture more renewable energies to minimize emissions of fossil fuels. Carbon sequestering configurations of biofuels can displace fossil fuels from the global markets. Biofuels are easy to produce on a large scale and their productions can easily remove tons of carbon from the atmosphere. Emissions from biofuels tend to be lesser than fossil fuels. Their production rate and carbon removal capabilities will grow over the course of time. One of the best ways to remove tons of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere is through seaweed and kelp farming on the oceans. These are very versatile water plants like algae, they can be used to make pretty much anything. People will consume more seaweed, kelp, and algae-based foods when climate change spoils soil farming every year. There will be grievous droughts every year in many places of the world, yet ocean farming is completely disaster-proof during these calamitous times. Eventually, through dedicated research and improvements, renewable energies will be more sustainable than they are. They require large volumes of rare earth metals that mining them impairs habitat severely. Hopefully, metals that are used in technology, manufacturing, and other sectors will be extracted from plants, or these metals can be replaced by their plant-based materials replacing useful minerals. Some companies are making compostable, and even plant-based plastics and metals used in technologies can be produced the same way in the future. Of course, these types of breakthroughs necessitate years of devoted research, experimentation, scientific analysis. It wasn't easy for aliens to develop advanced technologies and crafts. Humans have progressed technologically and industrially very fast during the last century. This has been spoiling the natural world, and it cannot go on much further. Without a robust and rich environment, no technology will be useful. Technology by itself will never solve any problems of human society, save the world, nor restore the environment. Even carbon capture technologies are very pricey, and they don't remove too much carbon out of the atmosphere compared to the yearly emissions. In order to mitigate climate change and reverse greenhouse gas emissions, most fossil-based industries may have to be readjusted or shut down globally. The burning of dinosaurs to power civilization is outdated. There is a need to invest in and formulate natural solutions and new clean energies. Perhaps, there are free energies that have been classified for too long, they can be revealed and mass manufactured to power the world. Clean energies can be more profitable, and they can devise a green economic system and structure to manage the world population without harming the environment or exhausting natural resources. Natural resources are regenerative, but they're very fragile, also finite. They are supposed to be conserved with the cooperation of all nations before it's impossible to recover the planet. Mars may never be like the Earth, thereupon new underground, self-sustaining cities can be built here on Earth copying Mars colonies. People would love to experience underground colonies and parks similar to Mars. Most of the population may be obliged to move into subsurface cities if the planet winds up uninhabitable and toxic on the surface. Temperatures are still rising every year, clean energy and solutions may never remedy climate and ecological crises. Global lockdowns have reduced emissions temporarily, carbon emissions will skyrocket to grow the economy once again. People love consuming and wasting everything recklessly until nothing left. This cannot be the only route to growing the economy anymore. There are strategies for ecological green growth by readjusting every industry and business organically to retune it with nature's renewable resources. There was no other way to power civilization other than fossil fuels until now. Renewable energies are the best bet for now. Nuclear fusion is in development, and it can create artificial suns to provide energy to every city across the globe. Once a new energy source is clean and functional, it will be mass manufactured swiftly for the global demand. Nuclear fusion can be so compact to propel futuristic spaceships that can work on ecological and cleanup projects speedily. Another problem is plastic pollution, and one thing people didn't think about is single-use plastics can be made from edibles. People eat everything as long as it tastes good. Edible plastics would be a booming business for their investors and makers. That way, plastic pollution would decrease. Edibles are compostable and decompose in a short time. Oceans and landfills are filled with plastics. Edible plastics could revolutionize every sector relying upon single-use plastics and packaging. There are always new ideas and methods to mimic and use nature to increase sustainability in every sector of business and industrial design. Compact wind turbines can run day and night and generate enough energy to power homes and businesses. Solar thermal panels are going to be so efficient that they will produce electricity day and night as well. A lot of companies believe green energy and innovation will be more profitable than fossil fuels, and they will help in overturning catastrophic warming. Mass manufacturing of countless junk products adds up to greenhouse gas emissions, and people never need that much junk for anything. In the future, 4D and 5D printing will manufacture anything by absorbing necessary elements from the ambience without harming or depleting the natural environment. Companies are trying to recycle waste and plastics to be used for 3D printing. 3D construction is erecting buildings with zero emissions with natural materials. Waste will be one of the greatest resources. Everything can be recycled, reused, and repurposed. Second-hand clothing is already a big business. Companies are shredding used products and making new ones without purchasing any raw materials. A circular economy is arising globally, and this is only the beginning. Humans are evolving faster, and they have the inherent abilities to transmute every aspect of society for the betterment of planetary existence. Green energy is the right direction, it's been fueling innovation unlike any other endeavor in the past. Climate change is an existential crisis, it can wipe out or impoverish human society. Scientists have warned that there are only a few decades to make the shift towards environmental sustainability. Since there are aliens all over the globe, humans have to cooperate and proceed faster to safeguard the planet's natural balance. People will always need products, yet these products can actually remove carbon from the atmosphere as well as benefit the environment. Anything in nature benefits every ecosystem in one way or another. Industrial designs can learn from this expression and remodel themselves. It takes the work and dedication of so many people to make big things happen. Transforming society as environmentally sustainable and renewable as possible is the biggest undertaking. You don't have to be rich, poor, smart, or successful to change the world for the better. There are always new ways to reduce pollution, utilize waste, embrace green growth. People should stop doing the things that deplete and destroy the planet, which is basically everything they do. Everything about human society and human behavior has to be amended. This required tremendous innovation in every aspect of society and industry, and it has to start now. Unfortunately, any place in the world with too many people generate too much pollution, land degradation, and reduction in natural resources. Some places were very green and forested in the past, people settle there, they built cities, then forests and vegetation have been wiped out. With the growing population, there were no forests or vegetation left in the proximity of these cities that are extending yearly. This is proof that population growth is bad for the environment, and it must be managed carefully. Everything people need, and every industry, depends on the environment to obtain their harvests. Survival instincts are very strong in human beings, they do all to survive and live better, but this has a negative impact on the natural resources that balance the globe. Human beings can be remarkable if they can protect and preserve the ecological balance in every place across the planet. There are many alien races watching every move of human society thoroughly. Alien beings have a wider view than humans, they can observe a very wide area from afar and telepathically amass information. They can also project thought and mind control from far away. This is very dangerous to human freedom, yet it's humans that misuse the planet wanted by many others. Environmental and resource sustainability has to be the main concern for any nation, regardless of its economic and societal systems. Every country has been contributing to climate change for centuries, climate change itself is converging to be irreversible. It's obvious that many alien races aren't helping the human population to deal with climate change and other calamitous threats. They've granted technologies to control the masses for the benefit of the alien overlords. That's why people all over the world have to wake up and unite as a super force to expel this malevolent presence before it's too late. The diversity of natural resources and ecological balance are very significant to secure the future of humankind and resist extraterrestrial manipulation that's been projected technologically, telepathically, and by other means. The entire globe has to be extremely united and cooperative to restore the planet's natural balance as resilient as it can be, also to be potent against alien subjugation. Plant-based industries may assist in enriching the soil and reclaiming many states as lively, climate balancing, and productive as large, splendid rainforests. It's possible that extremely ecological and fully plant-based civilizations have emerged as the most advanced and regenerative in the universe. Not many alien societies have achieved this level of progress yet. Now, renewable energies can reduce greenhouse gas emissions significantly, but this isn't enough to deal with climate change and other environmental issues. Everything people do have an impact on the environment, climate, and natural resources. Every element of nature is part of natural resources, and they coexist to balance the biosphere humans are embedded in biologically. Since the diversity of plants and trees make up nature and enhance every habitat, people must plant as much as they can diversely to sequester carbon, also convert most of the globe into polyculture forest productions to sustain themselves and biodiversity. Green innovation, developments, inventions, and energies have the capacity to outshine alien technologies and rejuvenate the planet into its most replenishing and procreative phase in its evolution. Humans are always a biological part of an interlocked living system. Everything affects the whole in every region across the globe. Every nation has to drop its emissions and environmental impact, then adapt to enrich and regrow the ecological cycles that supply the needs of human species organically. There may be more pandemics, more devastating disasters in the future. Some areas will endure the most severe droughts, so it's not over yet. It's just starting to get worse and worse every year. When the emissions, pollution, environmental destruction are halted then inverted, the natural cycles will rebound and the organic production rate will increase yearly. Some people installed solar panels and batteries to power their homes, charge their cars and live comfortably. Solar energy was adequate for all their energy needs for all their properties. A household electrified by solar is totally emission-free and climate positive except for their waste. People are starting to consume less and less, the economy will still do well. The capitalist economy has been reckless to the environment and produced an enormous amount of waste and pollution. A circular and ecological structure may put an end to all of these. Waste still contributes to climate change. Instead of attempting to colonize Mars, the Earth could be protected and safeguarded against climate crises. Plenty of underground cities could be constructed to house millions and billions of people in due course. Mars and other planets will never be habitable for humans. There are many alien worlds, but they're all barren or well protected. Plant species have been evolving for billions of years. They conceive nature as a living organism and do pretty much everything to stabilize the environment, also climate. The Earth is about plants, forests, and animals. There are microorganisms playing big roles in nature in decomposing matter back into the soil. Scientists are finding various microorganisms that can gnaw away microplastics breaching into drinking water, foods, and animals. Some of these microorganisms have been breaking down everything for millions of years. Microalgae and cyanobacteria in the oceans can absorb more carbon dioxide than forests, so ocean health is critical to oppose global warming. Every household may have a bioreactor powered by various types of algae and kelp to nullify their emissions and waste. Composting is getting more common in every household and city. Organic waste can be composted in a few months. Organic waste emits an enormous volume of greenhouse gases if it's not composted and used as a fertilizer. Electronics waste has been mounting exponentially. Most of the used and discarded electronics can be recycled, repurposed for other means. Some people have placed used smartphones in large forests to track deforestation, so it could be hindered shortly. Deforestation has to be obstructed and completely banned worldwide. There are rainforests being burned to be converted into monoculture plantations. One thing people didn't know about is polyculture farming can be more profitable, efficient, and beneficial for the ecosystems. Many species assist in generating greater yields. Biodiversity is always imperative to protecting ecosystems and forests. Eventually, human habitations will be similar to self-regenerative biomes mimicking natural rainforests. Rainforests comprise so many species of fruits, edible plants. There are a lot of them that are undiscovered or never been grown for human consumption yet. Consequently, many of these unique and rare species can be collected from the most diverse forested areas, and they can be grown as a polyculture that will expand as new carbon-sequestering rainforests in temperate and tropical zones. Most of these species can adapt to new soils and climates easily. Tropical zones are moving north gradually, so new tropical rainforests and species can be cultivated in new places. If industrial designs can emulate natural growth and production organically, cities will merge with nature as one living system to house and supply the growing human population with zero emissions and harm to the natural world. Trees and seeds are extremely significant to build new forest production systems globally. Seed, sapling reproduction should be fortified like an interconnected factory in every nation so reforestation and new polyculture farming ventures can be executed speedily. The emphasis on plants in every industry can increase sustainability and replace fossil fuels in order to generate energy and raw materials. The energy grid has to be reinforced and augmented in every nation to provide the infrastructure for renewable energies and battery farms. Solar roofs can charge home batteries throughout the day, and the excess charge can be diverted back to the grid. A smart grid will be more efficient and disaster-proof. Some households will be able to invest in renewable energies and sell them to their neighbors and back to the grid. This will incentivize more people to purchase and install renewable energies, batteries, electric cars, and all other clean technologies. Some nations are ordaining deliveries to electric trucks only. Almost all products are being delivered by gas-powered large trucks. When there are enough charge stations, as many as gas stations, electric trucks will be able to do all the deliveries to run the economy. Mass manufacturing of countless products still emit a stupendous volume of gases, and this is how products are made and packaged. Powering manufacturing facilities with clean energy and delivering all the products with electric vehicles will decrease emissions substantially. Everyone loves futuristic renewable technologies and electric vehicles. It feels refreshing to ride them for business and pleasure. Spaceships powered by solar reactors may be flying around to carry out ecological tasks one day to curb climate, environmental, and forest-related adversities. A lot of companies are dedicated to inventing new solutions and technologies to generate clean energies and removing greenhouse gases from the atmosphere. Nature does this the best, and it can also yield substantial materials and resources for all sectors. Electricity can be harnessed from the atmosphere. Nikola Tesla has invented the free energy tower that can capture electrical charge from the air. Free energy is abundant around the world. Electrical charge is already in the atmosphere. This is how lightning is conveyed, and there is an electrical charge in air particles. Green hydrogen and artificial photosynthesis can be mainstream soon. They will add up to the clean energy sector, which is destined to become the biggest industry of all time. Although renewable energies require rare earth metals in large quantities, they last a while, and they're better than pumping tons of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. Recycling discarded tech is going to be one of the biggest businesses when recycling procedures are perfected. Renewable energies, batteries, and electric cars are made of rare earth metals. They will be fully recycled and repurposed one day. Every tech company will adopt recycling in their design and manufacturing in advance so every device and appliance can be fully recycled or last a very long time. Nature has the best organic and biological technologies that recycle themselves infinitely. A circular economic system will imitate every aspect of natural design. Tech companies are the most influential businesses of all time. They have the power and capital to create the greenest, pollution-free civilization with a stable climate and ecology. Of course, technology siphons more resources than anything else. That's why every part and component begetting technologies are supposed to be recycled, reused, and reprocessed, so technology can be ultimately supportive for the planet. Carbon and greenhouse gas emissions have to be below zero in a few decades. This is an arduous objective for all nations. Every product must be designed to be recycled and reused beforehand, so waste can be the raw material for all industries and manufacturing. Magnetic engines can propel any type of vehicle and craft with little force. Magnets can turn around each other forever, and this spawns an adequate thrust to push any engine. Magnetic fields protect and spin planets, solar systems, and galaxies. This magnetic force is everywhere in the universe. It can be harnessed for any type of transportation and energy production. New planets can be terraformed when the universal magnetic force can be harvested for many uses. There will be many renewable energy sources discovered over the course of time. A few types of clean energies can decrease carbon emissions significantly, but they may not hinder climate change and its negative effects. Every industry emitting tons of gases can be revamped to be biologically renewable, so they will have little or no emissions. Plants are very biorenewable, and they cleanse the air in and around metropolitan areas every day. Some clothing companies are starting to design and make their garments with raw materials from plants and ditching plastics and chemicals. When more and more companies switch to plant-based design and manufacturing, their raw materials will be produced in very large polyculture farms that ameliorate the ecosystems and biodiversity. Plant-based products and materials can be recycled endlessly, and their productions can improve the natural balance. Human civilization will resemble a global rainforest proliferation when every industry and city is fully embracing ecologically safe and beneficial growth and circularity. Any new inventions and procedures will bring forth a domino effect across the globe. Solar and wind businesses are thriving in the global markets because they're the best ways to power civilization. Many ancient empires have gone extinct because they were destructive to the environment. The same thing is happening to this modern society now. That's why every factor of human society has to be regulated and rectified to counterbalance climate catastrophes and resource depletion. Water, which is the greatest resource and need for the human population, may be very scarce in a few decades as a result of global warming and droughts. Forests attract rainfall and purify them into streams, so many diverse forest systems can be cultivated to create new rivers, lakes, and water sources. Forests, especially rainforests, purify rainfall which is vaporized ocean water. Planting as many new forests natively and diversely will bear many new streams of fresh water, also convert barren soils into prolific mixed crops. Urban farming and renewable energies are already transforming large cities into natural ecosystems where people can live in harmony with the surrounding biosphere. If nuclear fusion is operational, every city may have its own artificial sun for all its energy, heating, cooling needs. Maybe people don't need too much energy or technology, they could live how the indigenous tribes have subsisted for thousands of years. Some of them have grown the largest rainforests as a food forest to sustain themselves. This is the evidence that humans can plant a global food and production jungle to sustain civilization. Renewable energies will advance to electrify a highly ecological civilization. Many types of spacecraft have been retrieved from visitors coming from space. Their mechanisms could bring forth new energy sources and engines that can run with no emissions and fuels. This new contrivance can be implemented into cars, airplanes, and other transportation systems. The future is already here, yet the planet has to be recovered with ecological projects and go through a complete retransformation. Burning things to make things and produce electricity is an outdated concept. Electromagnetic motors can be driven with free energies, so emissions can be below zero and nature can regrow and heal itself. Some companies have engineered hydrogen combustion engines that work the same as traditional combustion engines, but these new engines emit little carbon dioxide compared to other gas-burning ones. Though hydrogen production is still not efficient, it can compete with oil and gas one day. The burning of hydrogen produces a tiny amount of greenhouse gases. Hydrogen is a very abundant element, and it can be a great green energy source. The only problem is to split it from the air and water, which requires another energy source, complex procedures, and storage. Human society needs many new energy sources with no emissions and environmental impact to be able to halt climate catastrophes and build an advanced, Green civilization. Hydrogen may be one of them. It's an endless supply of very potent energy when it's captured and stored properly. Plants have been soaking up elements from the soil and the air to produce glucose and nutritious foods. Power plants can do the same. They'll be able to soak up elements to be used as energy and as industrial base materials. This way, power plants will produce electricity out of thin air, and Nikola Tesla has already invented the free energy tower. If hydrogen can be split from the air and water by utilizing energy towers to bring forth more energy in divergent forms, civilization will make the leap into the clean and free energy future. The rural areas that were presented with clean energy technologies had their economy booming, and their ecological structure has boosted notably. This is proof that renewable energies can significantly enrich and fortify the environment. Rural farming and organic production in and out of metropolitan areas. A lot of people were moving out of large cities. Small and mid-sized cities will have a lot of opportunities and a green job market as well. For every type of business, a large capacity of energy is needed. Renewables will deliver robust infrastructure to every place, regardless of how small or large they are. Planting more trees in large cities is necessary. It's easier to work on ecological projects out of suburban areas. A lot of people are trying to get into regenerative farming that can sequester carbon in the soil and propagate greater yields. Regenerative farming is more generative and prolific when it supports a diversity of crops. Plants can revitalize dry soil into very fertile ground packed with microorganisms and nutrients. Don't ever underestimate the power of plants. They can do anything, and they form most of nature encompassing the globe. Animals can grow as fast as plants, and they can fertilize the soil, eat the weeds, help in pollination, and foster biological diversity. Biological diversity is the main quality of augmented productivity and vivacity of the natural world. Many renewable energies working all together increase the energy production rate. Plants do the same. Traditional farming is outdated as fossil fuels. New agriculture methods can build new rainforests like how natives did in the past. Natives have planted most of the forest cover to sustain their tribes. Agriculture and energy are merging with the oversupply of clean energy. When households invest in more renewable energies, they'll be able to sell their excess electricity back to the grid and to their neighborhood. On the other hand, mining rare metals excessively to manufacture clean energy technologies may destroy mining territories and expend limited metal deposits. That's why the emphasis on research and development on renewable energies should be about making clean energy technologies more renewable and sustainable in their base mining and manufacturing. Solar panels mimic plant leaves, yet they aren't made of plants. Various metals used in manufacturing green energy could be harvested from plants. Humanity has entered a totally new era in its evolution. The environment that humans depend and live on is in grave danger due to instability, devastation, and rising temperatures. There are many ways to restore the global environment to sustain human society and also all other species with zero detriments. Humans have to live more ecologically than the past. Living and working industrially with the comfort and convenience has put a burden over planetary existence. Even manufacturing renewable energies to minimize emissions has been draining rare metal deposits. There is a new procedure to extract metals from plants and trees. Various species can absorb metals from the ground through their roots, and they can be sapped out or harvested in other means. Metals can be farmed instead of mining in the future with these new discoveries. Metal farming with trees and plants can rejuvenate dreary mining zones. It's a lot easier to plant various species to farm metals sustainably without ruining habitats. Mining causes deforestation, and habitat destruction also produces very hazardous pollution. Recycling is still in its baby steps. It's going to be one of the biggest sectors when it's more efficient than it is now. It's going to be easier to recycle and reuse metals and other components that are designed to be recycled and reused in advance. For example, solid-state batteries are easier to recycle than lithium-ion batteries. Batteries aren't there yet. Hydrogen and biofuels can be more efficient and emit a lot less gases than fossil fuels. Biofuel production can remove tons of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Green energy productions can ultimately remove tons of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gases split into other gases after a while in the atmosphere, yet they're more potent than carbon dioxide in warming up the globe. Once they're broken down into other elements, they don't cause any warming. This process takes a while, so it's best not to emit too much greenhouse gases industrially and in other ways. Humans are a newly developing civilization with great potential to be the saviors of planet Earth. Unfortunately, they've been destroying the planet at an increasing rate. This should be forbidden in every region and country around the world. Humans are supposed to plant more forests to supply their industrial demand and sequester carbon in the soil forever. A lot of companies are investing into forests to purchase carbon credits, but they better plant new forests with native and distinct species for greater growth and output. Carbon sequestration and removal from the atmosphere is arising as the most innovative and popular business venture. Natural solutions are more efficient and affordable than technological and industrial ones. Carbon capture facilities are very costly. Every world citizen is supposed to work on planetary protection projects and tasks that tackle climate change, pollution, deforestation and their negative effects. A few companies won't be able to make a difference unless everyone is involved. People still work in companies that harm and pollute the environment and waters. They buy the products that do the same. This cannot go on much longer for the sake of a few large corporations' profits. In the past, human beings were embedded into their ambience biologically like the animals. They are so detached from nature to survive and live comfortably. Human beings used to gather from nature and plant as much as they can to grow what they need and make things. It's like everything is so plastic and artificial now. Living and working naturally has to be dictated to every person, company, and business so they can start working and making things naturally with zero plastics and artificial materials. Growing more forests and nature intelligently with great design and planning can provide all the things people need continually. Every type of plastic ought to be banned, greenhouse gas emissions as well. People will adapt to working and living by considering the planet's natural balance when the destructive industries are completely prohibited. Chaos and disorder will be short-term during the implementation of the new green economic system that will enhance natural balance and end all kinds of pollution once and for all. Instead of buying and consuming, everyone can plant as much as they can to regreen the earth and set out an extremely eco-friendly lifestyle with zero damage to the planet's biosphere. Green energy is the key to building a very sustainable and pollution-free civilization unlike anything in the past. Green energy can forge many new green cities that will resemble diverse rainforests integrated with complete plant-based manufacturing and renewable energies. Tackling climate change itself has been promoting a very innovative approach to industrial designs and technologies. There are still tons of species to collect from dense forests and propagate near urban areas to make eco-friendly products and establish polyculture forests that are climate positive. Fossil fuel industry can become the new green energy industry when renewable energies can be efficient enough to provide enough energy for the globe. Fossil fuels have been very profitable, but they also contributed to climate change and engendered plastic pollution. The richest corporations are mostly oil and gas, so they have the capital to switch on to green energy easily when clean energies can prove to be the most efficient methods of energy generation. Perhaps, light gases like nitrogen and hydrogen can be the greatest energy source. Nitrogen can be stored as liquid air to power pretty much anything. The air we breathe may contain all the energy elements in gas form. Liquid air is being tested as an alternative to fossil fuels. Hydrogen can ignite and run a new type of combustion engine as good as fossil gas. Green energy is proven to be cleaner and better for the environment. This is the era to incentivize, invest in and subsidize green energy innovation and natural solutions to rejuvenate and clean up the planet. It will take some time to halt global warming and keep the planet in steady seasonally cool temperatures. Polyculture forestation can regreen cities and turn them into productive forest cities in a short time. Biomass isn't a green energy alternative, it destroys forests and produces greenhouse gases. Biomass should be removed from the clean energy subsidies and regulations as soon as possible. Plant-based foods and productions are becoming one of the biggest industries. Vegan and plant-based companies are going mainstream, thriving in the global market. It's not just the mock meats, people choose cruelty-free and eco-friendly substitutes for every type of product and foods. In the future, everything may be fully plant-based and emit zero greenhouse gases with zero pollution. Plant-based productions can be the most eco-friendly when they're researched and designed accurately. Nature it mostly plants and trees, so growing more of them in a diverse setting mimicking forests at an industrial scale can sequester tons of carbon, generate sustainable materials and create new green habitats for enhanced variety. Green energy and technologies powered by it can become some of the most advanced and regenerative in the universe. Energy is a very difficult subject for all civilizations. The Earth has its energy and environmental problems for a while. Human ingenuity is upsurging during times of crisis because there is a greater need for more sustainable and renewable energy and solutions. Any industry that emits the least greenhouse gases for greater yields also removes carbon dioxide from the atmosphere will be influential in the new era. The most sustainable industries can be the plant-based ones since plants, forests, orchards, and even farms have the ability to sequester carbon into the soil by absorbing carbon dioxide with photosynthesis. Photosynthesis has to be the building block of new green industries and productions as of now. Some renewable energies have been copying plant life. Solar panels resemble leaves, and they do pretty much the same thing to generate electricity. The environment, climate, and essential resources have to be safeguarded as steady and stable as possible. Resource extraction and manufacturing is the reason for climate change. Industrial designs have been detrimental for the environment, so industrial structure could be readjusted to benefit the environment and stabilize the climate, as forests and rainforests do. Scientists are working day and night to improve current renewable energies and technologies also to invent new ones. Perhaps, in the future, artificial suns will power every city across the globe. Buildings and objects will become batteries and generators with embedded nanotechnology. Nanotechnology is still in its concept phase. Researchers predict that any type of object can be converted to a power generator, solar panel, battery storage with the application of nanotechnology. The world is changing so fast. In order to reverse global warming and its impairments, many new breakthrough energies and technologies are requisite. Any object and surface can be a solar power generator when they're receiving sunlight. There are already solar windows being installed into buildings and offices to generate a part of the energy needed throughout the day. The world needs more ecological solutions to restore the environment and protect the current forest cover. Every nation ought to support and subsidize ecological projects and enterprises instead of industries that emit the most greenhouse gases and destroy the environment and natural resources for profit. After some time, the money that's made and accumulated will be useless in a depleted world. That's why the economic system has to benefit and enrich the environment and natural resources increasingly to reach net zero goals, also to defend the decreasing forest cover that's the most climate positive segment of the globe. Newly designed and planted forest productions can be as resilient and prolific as the tropical rainforests that manage rainfall, weather patterns, and house the richest biodiversity. There is enough farmland to transform into climate positive, abundant forest production. These new types of farming can produce raw and biomaterials for many industries as well. There are a lot of new ways to rejuvenate civilization and natural resources in order to cancel the environmental impact of all countries. Some nations are already transmuting vast deserts into new green growth like oases. Small and mid-sized cities will make a comeback. People are leaving big cities to start their homesteads and permaculture farmsteads. It's easy to implement solar panels into farming and homesteading in even rural areas or small cities now. Solar panels are getting cheaper, increasing property value and output. After some time, small and mid-sized cities will look futuristic and more prolific than they were in the past. Any place will be very vibrant and people will want to live in smaller, greener, dynamic cities with tons of green jobs for every age. Some companies have invented plastic pellets made of all kinds of waste, and it can be used to make many new plastics in any form and shape. Plastic pollution has to be a thing of the past. Waste can be recycled into new plastics easily now. If more companies invest into plastic and electronics recycling, they will bank out of these fast-growing ventures. Electronics comprise many useful components and valuable metals, even plastics. Some people are repurposing old smartphones to track illicit logging in forests. New cases are being made of compostable, plant-based materials, and smartphones can be manufactured more eco-friendly this way. People download and use apps more often than before. There are more apps to teach and instruct people how to live more eco-friendly and track their emissions and environmental impact. People like to be rewarded for everything they do, so apps that reward people for their good work and adjustments to benefit the environment can be popular and influential. When the clean infrastructure, power generation, storage, and charging is fully functional worldwide, people will be able to work on ecological projects anywhere easily. They will be able to get a vehicle that's charged freely from the stations connected to the grids and participate in reforestation, regenerative, ecological projects more easily than before. Hopefully, cities will be more like biophilic utopias in contrast to polluting, expanding metropolises. There are so many ways to sequester carbon and use it as a resource. Plants actually split carbon dioxide and turn it into carbohydrates for consumption. Carbon is the most abundant element in our world. It can be captured to be stored underground or turned into carbohydrates or even carbonized drinks. The green economy will employ carbon as a very valuable and useful component. Every city can garner many species from various rainforests and other types of forests to design and cultivate new forest ecosystems in urban and suburban areas. People love botanical gardens, but they're totally powerful enough to mitigate climate change. These newly created forest ecosystems can be fruitful and also climate positive. They can also forge new water streams and rivers naturally. A lot of regions around the globe are getting drier every year. The only way to prevent aridity is to plant new forests that are native and diverse to various regions. Regreening of the lands is proven to hinder droughts and desertification. The states that suffer the worst droughts are the ones with the least vegetation and forest cover. Dense forests will always attract rainfall and purify it into rivers, lakes, and creeks. In dense forests, permaculture farms are proved to grow faster and more productive than traditional monocultures. Dense reforestation and regenerative farming can stop land degradation, which is a global problem now. Every city can be redesigned as a forest farming biome, since every industry and the entire world population depend on farming to survive. Renewable energies fortify reforestation and farming. There will be a higher demand for plant-based materials for the thriving eco-friendly businesses. Industrial zones can adopt plant-based productions as much as they can to mitigate their emissions and impact, also switch to more sustainable manufacturing systems. Biorenewability of this industrial society has to increase to reverse global warming and environmental degradation. In the past, native tribes were continuously planting food forests to live and house themselves. People can constantly plant again to create new rainforests in many places of the world. Drone technology is very helpful to plant trees, track forest fires and activity. Seed balls are being mass manufactured to be dropped from drones in places where reforestation is crucial. After forest fires, forests regrow faster and stronger. Yet, they aren't able to stop deforestation due to agriculture, which is one of the most destructive industries. Cities powered fully by renewables in every way possible at a consumer level should be restructured, mimicking nature and eco-rich jungles. That way, they will become carbon negative and pollution-free in a short time. Waste will be completely recycled, reused, and repurposed. It has all the ingredients to make new products and plastics. Every product can be made from biorenewable resources derived from nature. Nature has been renewing and replenishing itself for millions of years, with no weariness. In the past, people made everything from various types of farming, yet they still went extinct because they were destructive to their environment. Humans shouldn't repeat the same mistakes, and learn how to work and live in harmony with nature. Modern humans consume so much more than any other being on this planet. People should plant more, grow more naturally to sustain themselves than coveting for industrial, technological expedients. Most products are being discarded after a few uses, and they still require tons of resources, water, plastics, and chemicals. Human beings have never been this destructive to the planetary existence in history. Nobody knew economic growth and expansion would strip away vast forests, turn the world slowly uninhabitable. More and more people are waking up and trying to do the right things to recover the planet's bioexistence. Coral reefs are still bleaching exponentially due to rising ocean temperatures. There were mass extinctions in the past. The species that survived has to adapt to new climate and conditions. After some time, planet's corporeal circumstances shift and change drastically. Life forms have to adapt and survive every cataclysmic event, and the human population has entered a cataclysmic period in history. Even removing all the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere may not solve the climate crises and planetary shifts. The only way is to plant and manage vast regions of diverse forests where eco-villages can be built and extreme biodiversity abides. Desertification has been getting worse every year. Some countries figured out how to stop deserts from broadening by planting diverse forests comprising most resilient species. In the past, deserts were probably smaller than they are now. They've been getting bigger and wider. Climate change has been fostering deserts for a while. After some time, the entire planet may turn into a scorching savanna where only a few species can subsist. You can tell this from burning forests, rising temperatures, and even from bleaching coral reefs. Mass extinctions can be reversed, and every species is unique and significant for life cycle special to this planet. The entire globe can be reforested as an abundant field in polyculture, agroforestry schemes. Anything is possible. Human beings have done so much on this planet. Now they can revitalize the globe into its most self-regenerative and climate-proof state. Indigenous tribes have planted massive food forests to feed, nourish themselves, also to make all kinds of useful stuff from gatherings. Some people have cultivated very dense and lively gardens in their backyards and homesteads. Farming and growing plants can be an approach to remove carbon dioxide, clear out pollution, and address climatic fluctuations. The forest cover of the globe has to increase every year. Cities and industrial zones can be the newest forests. Forest productions can easily sustain the human population in every way possible. You don't need too much technology, but you need forests and plants in any place and in any business. There was no other technique to make products other than working on and molding plant harvests in the past. Even electric cars with zero emissions require a tremendous amount of metals and materials. They still have a very large impact over the natural world and mining zones. Mass manufacturing of any product and technology emits tons of greenhouse gases, regardless how green and renewable they are. People could live and work like the natives did. It wasn't too bad to live like them. Their lives were totally fulfilling. A lot of colonists have joined indigenous communities and experienced a very gratifying and compassionate mode of life. Most of them were very coherent to natural landscapes, in tune with their ambience. The people who planted the most in their lifetimes were some of the most content and satisfied individuals. They've erected immense living jungles that continuously generate business and income for themselves and their families. This is how powerful planting is. I'm not talking about traditional agriculture. This is about creating living habitats that produce more than enough for their planters. You can experiment this in your backyard and see the results. It can be scaled up globally as a regreening industry. Transparent wood was invented recently. Green innovation is the most ingenious field of business. It will never stop inventing the future and reshaping the world and human civilization. Renewable wood made from plant-based ingredients, fungi, hemp, etc. will be used to construct new buildings and houses, so carbon can be stored in the lumber and building blocks can be assembled renewably. Many existent buildings and cities are being retrofitted to be climate positive. New buildings, housing, and cities are molding with renewable wood and environmentally beneficial models. Every nation is trying to design and build the most sustainable and green cities ever on the face of the earth. Renewable energies and eco-friendly productions will always foster old and new cities and metropolises, regardless of their size and population. Metropolitan areas consist of many small towns, cities, and districts. they can each get retrofitted with renewables and electrified by cleaner grids. An increasingly greener and cleaner planet will be able to terraform new worlds like Mars. Even the moon may display colorful stations and colonies that are visible from the Earth in the future. Some want the moon to be blue, some want it to be green or other colors. It will depend on what kind of algae they grow on the surface of these small planets. Innovation is so speedy that a lot of things are being made of fungi and mushrooms. Nobody knew mycelium was so versatile before. All kinds of products and packaging can be made of mycelium without investing so much. It's way cheaper to grow plants and mushrooms to make new products and packaging than products made out of plastics. Plants and fungi are easily molded into any shape like the plastics. They decompose and get composted in a short time after they expire. Some researchers and entrepreneurs are trying to mine metals through tree orchards by sapping them slowly. In the future, since metal deposits, especially the rare earths, are going to be exhausted, metals and minerals can be mined with trees and plants via sapping. The renewable future will demand more rare metals to manufacture technologies, and some of these metals can be mined from Mars, Moon, asteroids, and other planets in the solar system. There are organic, metal-free batteries in development that can be recycled over and over again. You don't need metals like lithium to make batteries anymore. There are other alternatives that will be in the market soon. Car batteries aren't efficient yet. Everyone knows their devices get drained so fast. In the future, organic super batteries will charge themselves with solar or wirelessly without plug-ins. Battery technology is crucial to every advancement, since most technologies are powered by rechargeable batteries now. Recycling batteries is dangerous and very difficult. Organic, metal-free batteries will be a lot easier to recycle endlessly. It's going to be like recycling waste into new products that some companies strive to. Every product and technology has to be extremely biorenewable and recyclable as of now. The planet cannot waste its limited and fragile resources and deposits much longer. They maintain the life balance worldwide. Every product and technology is required to be redesigned and manufactured to be recycled incessantly in a circular system. Every company and manufacturing are supposed to enrich the environment and natural resources. Natural resources tend to sequester carbon when they're managed properly. Most of the parts and components of electronics can be separated and recycled. Organic materials are used in every industry, why not in the tech industries as well? Sustainability of tech companies can be an example for the entire world because they influence and lead the world now. There are various organic compounds that can be used in technologies for them to reach greater sustainability and efficiency. For instance, the human body is a battery, an energy source, also a technological breakthrough. That's why humans have been so ingenious and created modern civilization. Human brain itself drains the most energy out of all other organs. Humans supply most of their energy needs from the foods that they eat, and foods are gathered from plants performing photosynthesis. Human body generates a significant amount of energy and electricity, and this can power electronics and can be stored in batteries. Thus, humans are biological generators, consequently energy generation and storage can be organic soon. There are billions of people on Earth, and they consume the planet increasingly. People could be free energy generators to power the next phase of civilization without warming or harming the planet they live on. Every organism maintains its existence organically, so technologies will eventually evolve to be biologically efficient as living organisms and intelligent creatures. Hopefully, plants can save the world once again. They've survived climate and environmental changes for millions of years. This isn't the first and won't be the last. Every type of catastrophic event is intensifying every year. There has to be a way to recover the planet through regreening, regenerative projects and industrial modifications. There are many alien races all over the world establishing themselves to exploit a weakening human society in every possible form of deception. Most of the technologies that people purchase and use today are alien in origin, and they're intelligently designed to mind control and exploit the masses. After some time, the world will deplete and every administration will fall under alien control easily. This is one of the most dangerous events in human history. More of the extraterrestrial organizations and groups will approach this planet once they detect it. A lot of them still don't know about this biologically rich jewel being misused by its native inhabitants. Although the human race has been seeded and genetically altered by alien races in the past, they've been impairing a beautiful and lively world wanted by many others. This time, the extraterrestrial forces are here for totally different purposes. One of them is planetary acquisition through technology, manipulation, and mind control. Some of these alien organizations have been conquering other planetary systems from the inside, with technology and many deceptive procedures. Climate change may deplete the planet completely in less than 100 years or so. Then the human population will need necessities from the aliens, who will use this opportunity to subjugate the masses. For this reason, any kind of industrial devastation has to be prohibited. Technologies that are manufactured to dominate the human population with brain, body, and other types of implants must be restricted. Some tech companies are becoming more powerful than any other body of influence and administration with the use of malevolent alien technologies. It's easier for aliens to utilize technologies embedded into society to control, brainwash, and manipulate the growing population. They need a global workforce to farm the Earth. Humans are only a resource for them. Too much technology will only drain the planet's limited deposits and ruin the environment. Technology, especially the ones alien in origin, will never save the world nor humanity. It's just a tool to be engineered by humans to carry out tasks and activities. That's all it's going to be. Don't think amazing extraterrestrial technologies will do much for the Earth. It takes so many resources, metals, environmental decay to engineer and mass manufacture these technologies preconceived to rule over the populace, everybody of authority and company across the globe. Swiping on screens or brain and body implants will never give superpowers to anyone. Dedicated study and practice will grant everyone useful knowledge and skills. There are a lot of people in high positions who are literally tricked by their alien overlords. They believe trinket technologies would give them superpowers and make their lives better than others. Most of the alien technologies are useless on this planet. People could work on ecological projects, clean energies to stabilize climate, refresh the barren lands and forest cover. A lot of people still believe aliens are coming or already here to save humans and the world. This is totally false. No evidence indicates that. Most alien races that come to Earth aren't ethical. They see humans as specimens and even farm animals. Technology should be restricted. It can't be the only channel to societal and intellectual advancement. Any industry that's exhausting the planet's finite and fragile resources and deposits need to get readjusted, regulated, and modified or completely banned. No nation is supposed to allow any kinds of environmental devastation related to industrial and economic growth and consumption. Aliens know people are destroying the planet exponentially. They compute every activity and deed in advance. They concluded that the society is headed for total destruction, so they've been doing whatever it takes to gain control of the human population secretly. To counteract this phenomenon, people have to protect and rejuvenate the environment they depend on to survive for thousands of years. The environment and its organic and unique resources are extremely valuable. They cannot be wasted for short-term profits, growth, and expansion. Every industry and country relies upon natural resources that maintain the globe's life balance. Trees and forests are immensely significant. Human civilization could resemble a global rainforest in order to steady weather fluctuations, exhaustion of natural resources and habitats. Simple water plants like microalgae can produce biofuels, hydrogen, feedstock, and are utilized for bioremediation and so much more. There are so many things that plants can do, and humans are barely discovering the many uses and applications of plants. Trees are larger plants that live and root longer than many other organisms. Once they're densely rooted in a diversely rich setting, they can do miracles. Scientists are finding out that mining of many metals can be done with tree sapping. Some tree species can cleanse toxic mining zones and soak in metals from the ground for harvesting. This is the proof, not technological but sustainably organic and botanical path to advancement and proliferation will be the best bet for human society. An extremely sustainable civilization can achieve anything and outmatch all alien races in the long run. Regreening the Earth with biodiverse productions and regenerative industries can be the main goal of every nation and city around the world. Some people believe that seaweed can save the world or even microalgae. This planet is literally in grave danger, so it needs to be saved by all means necessary before time runs out. Seaweed has so many uses, and it's a fast-growing water crop. Extracts from plants are very popular, and they have many health benefits. Some water plants like seaweed can be used to make anything. It's been consumed by Oriental nations for a long time. There are projects to sink carbon into the deep ocean with seaweed and kelp farming. These plants grow fast, and they can sink into the deep ocean after they absorb enough carbon dioxide. It's better to consume them, since most plants produce carbohydrates from the carbon dioxide they soak in. Plant innovation is crucial to tackling climate change and carbon removal projects. Reaching net zero will require many innovative approaches to land and ocean farming, and plants will probably play one of the biggest roles to halt global warming and increasing sustainability. Some people assume the aliens will come and save the world. Matter of fact, some of them are already here on Earth, and they are only here to do business for their own gain. These deceptive collectives are attempting to gain access to coveted resources unique to the Earth. Every region and resource of the Earth has to be protected from depletion, catastrophic events as well as the alien organizations that come here to take advantage of a weakening society called humans. You won't find what you have here in space. The Earth is a marvelous sphere consisting of a great diversity of life forms and assets. It's presumed that most of the planets are barren like Mars. It will be very difficult to colonize Mars. It's going to be similar to living in the space station that only the well-trained astronauts can do. Ecological restoration is critical to increase the resilience and carbon storage of every nation since climate change and its catastrophic fallout are occurring because of the environmental misuse and devastation. The territories housing the greatest biodiversity and procreation are the ones with the utmost diversity of trees and plant species. This is proof that plant life can sustain all kinds of life forms as well as humans. For this reason, the industrial civilization could be reorganized as an ecological outgrowth mimicking nature and it's self-generative. There is an estimate stating that planting trillions of trees as diversely as possible to produce raw materials and foods could regenerate the globe and reverse global warming. Temperatures have to be cooled down to a seasonally steady state. In the future, there won't be enough tree and forest coverage, and the largest forests are starting to emit more carbon dioxide than they remove. Human civilization has entered a very cataclysmic era and it has to find new ways to recover the planet. Industrial expenditures will never accomplish the critical tasks to clean up and revitalize the globe's natural balance. Many industries may have to be abandoned to clear the path for ecological and green enterprises. Some scientists figured out systems to produce hydrogen from microalgae sustainably. Hydrogen can be a great energy source with none or little emissions. Some states are installing solar panels over waterways and canals for more efficient water transfer and power generation in rural areas. Solar panels hinder water from vaporizing in water canals, also cool it down for better transport. Overpopulated areas of the globe consume the most water and resources also generate the most population. Waterways installed with solar panels can provide energy and water for farming villages for them to increase their output. The planet is heating up, so solar thermal energy will be one of the best energy sources for every nation. Of course, there will be natural disasters and many ice ages here and there, yet renewable energies will always be the best bet. Fossil fuel-based companies have acquired massive riches in the past and they still do. It's easier for them to invest in green energy and sustainable projects addressing climate change and its effects. Some oil and gas companies anticipate a terrific opportunity in hydrogen to run cars, trucks, and other types of vehicles. Hydrogen is abundant in oceans. With great work and dedication, green energies like hydrogen will be superior to oil and gas. If so many cars are fueled with hydrogen, it will be quicker to achieve net zero for all nations. The entire economy depends on fast transportation, and cars, trucks are some of them. In the future, they may be replaced with space drones powered by nuclear fusion or bioreactors. In some movies, flying cars were fueled with bioreactors ingesting waste. This may be a reality one day. A lot of households who like gardening set up bioreactors for composting and for gas production. Bioreactors filled with microalgae can produce free hydrogen to refill cars and trucks someday. Solar highways and streets are in development in some countries. Roads will become charging stations for every passing vehicle. Cars will get charged automatically while they're driving. They will never run out of charge because every road will be a charging station including battery storage. Smart grids can accomplish this without squandering electricity. It's easier to start with solar bike paths. People will be able to charge their electronics from smart grids via wireless electricity. Thereby, commercial trucks will deliver the goods continually day and night. The economy will run smoothly with the help of smart grids, free energy highways and wireless electricity. After 5G, hopefully electronics will be charged wirelessly from the air or from Wi-Fi, which is slowly enclosing the globe. The planet is getting smaller every day. There are a lot of people who've traveled the world in a year or so. The planet actually isn't too big, like most people surmise. You can drive around the globe in a few weeks. People usually drive longer mileage than the Earth's circumference in a few years or so. This planet cannot sustain an ever-growing population, dissipating and polluting the delicate natural world. Charging stations will be everywhere, storing electricity for every type of vehicle and device. There are very futuristic car prototypes that can clean the surrounding air pollution from other cars. Most of the large cities have smog throughout the day. Sometimes it's impossible to see through or breathe in these very large metropolises. Cars are machines and they're getting electrified. They'll be able to clear up the air pollution from smoggy cities and industrial zones. There are billions of cars on the roads. Think what could they do if they were designed to remove pollutants from the air and cleanse the atmosphere. They may capture carbon dioxide and turn it into fuel one day. Carbon is basically used for anything, and it's the building block of most products, fuels, even carbohydrates. Instead of wasting money on large carbon capture facilities, electric cars can cleanse the air and remove pollutants while driving. Battery technology will upgrade soon to make better electric cars. Cars can be transformed into any type of machinery, and they can still drive a long range. Carbon capture can be implemented into electric and gas cars. That way gas cars can also remove carbon dioxide that they emit into the air. Many companies and innovators are still trying to find out the best solution to climate change and carbon capture. The answer may be cars. Car technology came a long way. Cars do pretty much everything for cities and people. People use machines to complete many tasks. Air filtration is still done by machines, and cars can filter the air as well as capture tons of carbon in a tank. Spending millions of dollars on carbon capture facilities would be incompetent against climate crisis. We definitely need millions, billions of cars, trucks, and four-wheelers to clear out pollution and capture carbon dioxide as a resource. Cars and computers have brought about the most inventive outlooks for human civilization. They're intermingled progressively, and machines are emerging as smart organisms that can think on their own. Humans have polluted and degraded the planet to a great extent, it cannot go on. Furthermore, cars can be converted to air cleaning vacuums with redesigning and remodeling. Pollution has to be forbidden, and greenhouse gases should absolutely be removed from the atmosphere. Humanity is approaching the brink of extinction yearly. Temperatures are a lot higher than 100 years ago. Every coral reef is bleaching, every forest is dwindling, cities are growing, expanding and polluting more every year. Nothing will ever be the same again. The age of cataclysms is already here. Mass extinction events are probably the norm from now on. Some parts of the world are getting afflicted by the worst droughts in history. When drought is the standard, vast areas will turn into desert, forest will wind up to be savanna. Environmental problems and subtle alien invasions are related to each other. Humans should stop fighting against each other and cooperate to solve the environmental, industrial, and societal problems globally. The largest empires have been wiped out because of their ecological impact. The current civilization is probably the most destructive than any other in the past. Nature has already initiated the cleansing schemes to refresh its natural environment. It's almost impossible to get rid of the industrially established civilization as of now. Thus, it's up to humans to make the shift towards environmental friendliness in everything they do, make, and consume. Aliens are only here to subjugate and exploit a weakening, confused society, so you cannot expect much from the aliens. Their plans are predatory. They've been studying the human race for quite a while, nevertheless humans don't know much about them. They come in many shapes and forms, yet their agenda is pretty much the same. Likewise, they've been competing around the globe secretly to gain access to desired resources, gain control, and use people for their own purposes. The environmental issues are supposed to be the main concern for every country, regardless of their size, population, and economy. A totally regenerative, pollution-free, and circular economic system can clean up and refresh the global ecosphere and the atmosphere. There are many new eco-conscious industries that are being invented and emerging into the world economy. There are so many things people don't know about yet. Human beings should augment their knowledge about the environment and industries that affect it. People didn't know that industrial and economic growth and expansion would ravage the planet exponentially. Perhaps an economic, industrial, and technological degrowth would benefit the planet and the natural world more than anything. Building new eco-friendly, greenwashing industries and businesses would still take away from the frail ecosystems. Some entrepreneurs believe that solar can power the world easily. Solar panels have to get more efficient every year, so they can generate more energy, last longer and can be embedded anywhere. Nuclear reactors will be so compact to power any device, any airplane, spaceship, and city block one day. Scientists are working on building nuclear bioreactors that can produce more than enough energy for any city. A bio-based economy as in energy generation will be way more sustainable and constructive for the natural environment humans are implanted in. Nobody is detached from the natural world by any means. No matter how rich you are, how much authority you possess, what kind of car you drive and what you own, you always live in a natural, finite, and fragile environment. The Earth's environment is still rich compared to the alien worlds that are either depleted or barren. That's why there are several alien collectives that launched their planetary takeover procedures. There are millions of alien-human hybrids all over the world being trained and placed to carry out the planetary takeover from the inside. People didn't know that the world is depleting extremely fast. It won't be too difficult for these alien associations to gain control of the world once the planet loses its adequateness. The richest, most powerful people will be the first ones being mind-controlled or deceived by their new alien overlords, since aliens have higher mind influence and capabilities. This is probably one of the most dangerous and subtle events in human history, not many people know about this. Alien invasions have been launched decades ago. They want this planet as their own and humans as their newest workforce. Alien or human technologies won't be able to save the world nor humanity. Technology is just a tool on Earth and in space. It's easy to acquire advanced technology through space trade. Renewable wood that's made for construction or for clear paneling will play a big role in the green economy. There are many techniques to produce and manufacture wood renewable without harming forests and ecosystems. Many houses and buildings will look like greenhouses that can produce food, botanical and so much more. Households and buildings will gradually loom up as production houses that can either generate green energy or raw materials for many industries. The green economy will grow durably and get bigger and bigger to refresh the organic network. Every neighborhood and household can be a production space for viable businesses. Instead of taking away from the living ecosystems, the new economic structure will enrich them incrementally. Manufacturing and constructions will be made of waste, rubble or from renewable substances. The waste across the globe hasn't been seeded after all. The pandemic has induced a surge in waste across the globe. People still shop and consume as much as they can. When they feel being threatened, their survival instincts rise up, and they start doing more of the things that harm the environment increasingly. This can change if the global green infrastructure can bring forth a pollution-free, climate-positive, and ecological system of global reform and revival. Solar and wind energy ventures are growing faster than all other businesses. Bio-based startups can reshape the economy. Everything, every product, can be redesigned with bio-based methods of manufacturing from organic compounds. Some companies are trying to replace their product lines with bio-based techniques that are way more environmentally safe and beneficial than old processes. Every company, city, and industry can learn from this new trend bound to reduce carbon emissions and assist Mother Nature. There may be serious shortages in every sector. A lot of the manufacturing depends on production output from natural resources that are diminishing due to environmental and climate instability. In the future, many companies won't be able to supply the demand and the population is always growing. Organic and mineral deposits are supposed to be conserved for the future. Economic growth will increasingly exhaust these repositories that the human population relies upon to survive in any time in the future. Economic degrowth and natural conservation are the only modes for a more sustainable and secure prospect for all living beings. Time has already run out years ago. Now is the only chance for planetary cleanup and resurgence. Every kind of natural resource and life form has to be protected to preserve the biodiversity and natural balance, maintaining the Earth's sustenance. Many industries and even nations may get shut down as a result of environmental decay and resource depletion. There is going to be mass migrations when most of the world winds up uninhabitable. That's why every continent and region has to refresh their ecological and industrial stability to reach net zero and clear up their pollution and impact. More companies are researching how to modify their business methods and production lines to nullify their impact, undertake climate change and go zero emissions. Environmental awareness is spreading across the globe, which is a great thing. People know what's been going on and there is much to learn. There are always new ways to tweak sectors of business in order to attain better environmental friendliness and sustainability. A forest-based bioeconomy may be the best path to sustainability since forests are the most productive, lively, and diverse areas of this planet. Rainforest models can be implemented into large and small cities anywhere in the globe for them to become more naturally balanced, emission-free and greener than before.